Hey guys, TriggerhappyJon coming at you with another Nier Reincarnation video. So on today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about the different substats and stats that you're looking for on Memoirs. So today's video, I'm actually recording it a little differently than I normally would. I am actually live right now on Twitch recording the video. So that way the Twitch community can actually use, can be my quality control measures, so to speak, if I'm saying shit that's out my ass. So with that being said, what you see here, I have a memoir pulled up right now. This is an agility memoir, 4-star. So we're gonna kind of go over what stats you're looking for on your memoirs, what not necessarily target goals to get for the substats, but more so just getting the substats actually listed on your memoir that are going to help you and be the most beneficial, versus just kind of like guessing and going out there, right? So you want to make sure you're very efficient on this. I know I just did a video yesterday or the day before, depending on when you're watching this, talking about the 100% success rate is going to be ending in 2 days or 3 days, I believe. Now we're down to 2 days, which is actually going to be 1 day, probably by the time this video comes out. So it's going to be very crucial to have that information as far as what substats you're really looking for on your memoirs versus what stats are just kind of meh. Because you definitely don't want to settle for it, and you don't want to waste the gold. Because once this 100% success rate leaves, guys, you're literally going to go from like 130 to 150k gold to like over 500 plus k gold to upgrade a memoir. So now is legitimately the best and only time to farm your memoirs and get them upgraded, invest all your gold in them right now, because once this is gone, you're going to be hurt as far as gold goes. So as you can see, I have my current agility piece memoir pulled up here. Now, the reason why I have this one pulled up as an example is because you will notice that at the upper right, oh, I can't quite stretch my arms that high, but you'll see that it has crit rate 20%. So this is a crit rate main. It had a secondary crit rate as well that rolled. It rolled a couple of times, so it actually starts out pretty high for a substat on 4 stars. But we got 11% crit rate more, so this is actually 31% crit rate out of about an 80% crit rate target on your characters. So that's really, really good. You will also notice that it has HP on it, which is very, very good. This attack is crap. You see, it's a flat stat here. You don't want flat stats at all on your memoirs. But I've been pretty much operating with a thought and the sense of it as, if you have one flat stat, that's going to be okay, as long as it's not like the worst flat stat to have. In this case, attack is an okay one to have, even though it's not actually going to do very much for you. So percent stats escalate so much quicker because percent stats actually go off your character's base stats. So say you have a percent that is 4.5%, like it says. Now that's going to scale off of your character's base HP, which is going to upgrade as you evolve or sorry, not evolve. Yeah, as you evolve or send your character, and they go from the base 70 to the 90. That's just going to increase exponentially, whereas these are going to be a flat stat, which is not going to grow accordingly with your main stats. So that's why they're not very good to have. Which also you'll see here, I have a lot of these. I have to start going through and cleansing my memoirs, but you'll see, ooh, that one's cool. That's not what I want to show. We'll go look at that later. Let's see here. So I'm guessing like one of these is pretty much not good. Okay, here we go. So these main stat ones as well, guys, that are primary and they're a flat stat, I would not prioritize getting these, because you're going to run into the same instance where these aren't going to scale correctly with your character. You're going to waste a lot of gold and a lot of energy, efficiency, however you want to put it, upgrading these up, and you're not going to reap the benefit. Like 250 defense is like 25% of 1,000 or something like that, right? So, or 10,000. Math is hard. It's early in the morning. I apologize. But you're not going to get, like, you would get a higher scaling ability just by getting percent here. So I would say you would trash this. And even though it has 4% secondaries, your secondaries are never going to roll as they're never going to roll really how you want them to roll, for one. And for 2, you're not going to see, like, your primary is going to get a lot higher because it's going to be literally every time you upgrade it, that ability is upgrading. Versus your secondaries, you don't get to pick and choose these secondaries. Like, it's going to be a random amount, and every 3 levels they're going to upgrade. So you get 5 chances to get all in one subset that you really want, or you get a primary of that ability, and then you're guaranteed to get that one up and up and up as you go. So like going through here, guys, like I'll kind of give you just a couple ideas or pointers as I'm going to say, like, okay, this is how I would gear cleanse my own account and what to look for. Because as you can see here, I still have to go through a lot of these. So you can see I have left this at a level 1. So what I usually do is if I decide I may want to keep the memoir, I will enhance it 1 time and make it a level 2. And then that way when I come out of here and I back out and I go to sell, because guys, you want to make sure you sell all your unneeded ones because that gives you your gold return back. But then I could just click on the 1-star ones or 1 level ones, and I know, okay, these are trash. So I can sell these, and I can get them done, I can get them gone. And it's a lot easier to do it that way, so that way I'm not working on other things and not having to do, like actually double click on them, long press to try to sell them. Oh man, I went in the wrong screen again. All right, Memoirs, there we go. I wish you could access that same screen from the same one, but you can't, unfortunately. But yeah, if we go down here and we click on, like, so we'll come down here again. So this one here, guys, so this is an HP main set, which isn't bad, and it has crit rate, crit damage, which a lot of you would say, okay, this is great. These are the substats that I really, really want. Because, you know, you want to focus on your DPS. You want to be doing a lot of DPS. HP is great to have. It adds a lot of force and adds a lot of sustain if you're doing boss fights and you can't just DPS your way through it. Or in the arena, sometimes it's nice to have HP just so that way you can go, like, have a go second team versus a go first team and just beat them down. But the biggest thing to note here is you have 2 flat stats on the substats here. So this is instantly a rip. Like, I don't care what this crit rate, crit damage, if this was even a crit rate main, crit rate substat. It's got 2 substats on there that are flat stats. So if you waste your gold upgrading this, you're losing, like, your risk versus reward drops so dramatically because out of the 5 stats you have that are going to boost your character, you're foregoing 2 of them. You're essentially foregoing 2 of them. So really, out of 5 stats, you're limiting yourself down to 3. And I just don't feel like that's worth it as far as a gold to efficiency ratio, right? Like, I would literally be going like, okay, well, this memoir is only going to give me HP, some crit rate, some crit damage, and every time you roll that up, there's no guarantee that you're going to hit this crit rate, crit damage. So you'd be guessing, right? You'd be guessing rolling it up to possibly hit this crit rate one, which would just be wasting your gold. That's why I say if you have more than 1 flat stat on a piece, you should be trashing it. Now, honestly, I don't even like keeping it with the 1 flat stat, but a lot of them I have. As I get more and more in game, I'm going to be more and more picky and not keep them. Now here's an example of a different one. Now, granted, yes, it's an attack, so we're not going to keep this. Like, just flat out, don't get it misconstrued. It's a primary that's a flat attack or a flat stat, so we're not going to keep it. The only flat stat you ever keep is going to be your agility because it's going to get higher exponentially. But here you have agility and attack in here, so your agility does not count as a flat stat. That still counts as like a percent type stat because it will grow exponentially and it'll help modify your current agility to make you go faster. So that one's okay to count towards an actual stat. The other thing I don't really focus on is I try to match my primary stats to my set bonus. So you'll notice that this is only 1 star. I've already went through this a little bit here, and you notice that this one is at level 1 and it's a defense primary, but it's on a crit rate set. So we don't have any defense using characters yet. I say that with modestly, because I don't think Nier will ever go the route like some gotcha games where they do like your HP based or defense based attacks. But who knows? Maybe they will, and maybe defense will be a priority later. But as for right now, it's not a priority as far as to do actual damage. And chances are you don't want to do a defense set for someone who's just going to do like your DPS because it's a crit rate memoir set, right? So I try to stick or stay away from pairing my set bonuses to my main stats that don't complement each other. So for example, if you have a crit rate memoir, I would typically say you want to get a crit rate, a crit damage, an agility, or an HP substat or main primary stat, and those would be really the only ones you'd want to keep for that substat. Now, if you had memoirs down here in the other sections, so if we come down here to oh wow, I've got a lot to go through, guys. Oof, oofta. That's attack. No, I want to go to. I have some defense ones somewhere. I had some defense ones somewhere, guys. I had some that I already upgraded. I don't know where they went. I do apologize. Ill prepared, ill prepared. There we go. These are the ones I'm looking for, I think. So like right here, this is defense up by 30%, attack down by 20%. I need to sell this one, but I kept it just for an example for this video. So this is an attack primary, which does not go well with your defense up by 20% and your attack down by 20%. So you would literally, like, the only way this would work out well for you is if you were to pair your primary stat with like an attack percent that would then take over that attack down by 20%, but technically it doesn't work like that because it's going to all be scaling off your main attack or off your base attack. So, and this set here is just kind of trash, but there's other ones that are just straight defense and HP, and you just kind of want to synergize, like, what set are you using or looking for, and kind of synergize within the primary and substats as far as what makes sense. Like, don't go full attack on a defense set. Don't go all HP defense on an attack set, so on and so forth. That's basically the general gist I'm trying to get to as far as like what primary stats to synergize with your substats. So the last thing I wanted to say is what's the difference between the 3 stars and the 4 stars as far as stats go. So I have found a 3-star that I'm willing to max out. So this is an agility set. It's HP, which is kind of okay. Normally I would like want to have this to be HP, or I want this to really be crit rate or agility, but we're gonna, for the sake of science, we're gonna go ahead and max it out because it has crit rate, HP, agility, and attack. So it's got four for the percentage substats, which is really what I'm looking for. So we'll go ahead and multi-enhance this and max it out. All right, so as we upgrade this guy, so what you're looking for is every 3 levels, you will see a substat does change on this memoir itself. So now we're gonna hit level 12. You saw here it went to HP. Now the final level, which this is why I would say normally you don't take your 3 stars past 9, is because it's gonna take a crap load of gold. Now you'll notice down here this only took 71,000 gold to complete this upgrade. That's because of that 100% success rate, whereas before you would not have the 100% success rate. And when you've finished upgrading the memoir, it'll tell you what substats it actually went on. So we kept this because of the hope of getting crit rate here, right? We got one roll on crit rate. We got an extra 3% on HP, 1% on attack, and our primary went up to 15. So it doubled. Essentially, it doubled from level like 2 to level 15. It doubled the main primary stat, and our crit rate went to 6. So what I want to show here is that was a 3-star. I want to show the difference between a 3-star and a 4-star, so that way you kind of make your own educated guess as to what memoirs you want to take and how high you want to take them. Because I did do my last video, and everyone kind of pointed out to me that they still thought 3 stars were very viable, and I don't personally think they are. So here I have another HP percent agility set memoir. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade this one. And we're gonna hope really that this just hits agility, but but you'll notice that the difference in the HP availability is going to be 5% higher than the other one, right? Um, and your substats are going to go up exponentially higher as well. So we went from 12% to 20% here. So we got a lot bigger boost as far as overall HP. Like an extra 5% on 10,000 HP is a significant amount for one. And yeah, so the other stats didn't increase like necessarily a hell of a lot more like we wanted, but we did get a good agility here, so that's great. So this was 2 agility rolls, but but your overall stats in general start off so much higher on a primary 4-star than they do on a 3-star, that really it evens its way out to where you're going to want to focus on mainly just doing this and upgrading your 4-stars. Only keep some 3-stars if you're really trying to progress through the game to get to the point where you can do these 10-star dungeons. And honestly, if you're going to be farming for Memoirs, guys, the Witch is really one of the best places to farm. And honestly, it's kind of one of the easier ones. So once you can get past the 7th floor is like the hurdle that everyone has. Once you complete the 7th floor, 8 and 9 are usually pretty easy because you tend to have a lot of light and dark weapons. But then the 10th floor, the fire one, that one's really, really hard. I have another video on YouTube talking about like how to overcome your dungeon obstacles. So you may want to go check that one out. That may help you out as far as accomplishing your goal of farming them. But I would say you really want to farm like the witches. Aberrant, if you're trying to go for PvP, you want to come in here and you want to farm. And then the other one to kind of farm is going to be your Officer Memoirs is pretty good to farm as well because you do get some attack and other Memoirs set bonuses that are worth it. So, but yeah, guys, that's going to conclude it for the YouTube video for today. I conferred with chat just a minute ago before I started recording again. No one mentioned anything about any inaccuracies, so I guess my quality control worked this time. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, at the beginning of the video, I stream on Twitch. Come follow me at twitch.tv/TriggerhappyJon. We love to hang out, have fun, talk, shoot the shit, theory craft. They like to correct me a lot. It's a lot of fun. But come hang out with us, and yeah, that's all I got, guys. So until next time, peace.